Welcome, everybody, to Tuesday night. Thank God it's Tuesday. I'm Ken Meringolo on behalf of First Amendment Sports. Welcome back to Tuesday. He's Kevin Ricca.
Well, I'm glad I just read the beginning of this because I did have some last-second wardrobe scenarios. I decided to go underwear. But more importantly, it's been a long time since the other side of my notebook had two deep scribblings in it at March Madness time. That's a great thing, man.
Let's see. We get the sound checker on her. Manner of speaking, EO, Rhett.
Hello, gentlemen.
We'll get some more highs and hellos out there as people hop on in to the to the party. Tonight's show, we will. I mean, it's March Madness. I know Greg Martin's going to be here with a little March Madness themed goodness. We kept a 3-shot. Now T's not here tonight. He's still recovering really from just a disastrous public relations tour with the whole intimate situation. And listen, we watched the last few episodes.
I barely heard about it. I'm glad I'm on the fringes of this, this network.
It's let's just say
that went over bad.
It goes deep all the way into the middle of the intimates.
It's squishy in
creamy middle. All right, listen, that was uncalled for.
It's raspberry filled. Let's be fair.
It is raspberry filled.
That's all.
That was predetermined. So no, I talked to T today, and we do hope to have him back here soon. And we know you guys are all thinking about him, as are we. And this time of year, finally, for someone, a lot of the folks out there who want to do, want to be believers again, there's a lot to believe in. So we're going to cover the Adam Peters Year 2 free agency. We're going to talk a little March Madness somehow, some way. Not exactly sure how that's going to go. And we'll hop around a few other hot topics. Let's talk. I thought the intro into it, because we could talk about our guys all day long. The intro into it, I'm super impressed by the Cincinnati Bengals keeping Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I'm super impressed that Jamar Chase is the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. That's outrageous. I not that he doesn't deserve it. He's outrageously good. And then you drop another $40 million to him, another 25 to 30 on T. That's my baby gets what my baby wants when Joe Burrow says, this is what I get to give Mike Gesicki's back.
I don't know. I think Joe Burrow is a brilliant guy. He's like, can we spend some money on defense? Because here's the deal. I think the new game plan is to score 60 a game.
If you can give up less than 40, you can win in Cincinnati.
Maybe they know something about a rule change that we don't know. Maybe there's someone's got some pictures. Hey, I think it's great if there was like a lot more money left in the salary cap for the rest of they're like trying to put Hendrickson on the market. Like, guys, your defense stunk last year. You're getting rid of your best guy. All right, whatever.
Or you just go all in.
Each their own.
All in on outscoring everybody. I mean,
Let's
their
sell
offense
some tickets.
is
Let's let
so
Burrow
good.
And Chase. They're great. But
they should never go for it. They should never punt on fourth down unless it's like 4th and a million.
If you're not going to pay anyone on defense, you might as well not.
Never. It's
kind of a whole new way to look at it.
Jamar Chase, it's the wide receiver era. It's the pass happy era. Bill Belichick and Peyton Manning changed it for everybody. And so now getting to be a quarterback and a wide receiver is the greatest gig on earth. And those guys do it as good as anyone. Jamar Chase, when just because he was signed, we get to watch a lot of his film constantly. I mean, oh my gosh, he's everything. He's always open.
He's amazing.
He's the fastest guy. He's the strongest guy. He's
amazing.
The toughest guy.
I get it. He's earned it all.
Oh, man.
I'm just saying how it all came to fruition underneath that one salary cap. I mean, there's got to be some old school receivers, not just Bengals. They did have some great ones though, that are like
old school Bengals receivers. Okay,
shit.
Give me a second. I mean, I'm going back for I'll go back. So Boomer Esiason, I'm trying to think of some guys Boomer threw to, but I don't think I can go back that far.
I can't think of any. I just know that they were always in the playoffs all the time. But I know that didn't John Taylor come from Cincinnati, or is that am I misappropriating?
On his way to San Fran?
All right, listen, the Ocho Cinco days stand out in my head, and he was a very good player. I'm just talking about when they started spinning it a little bit. Listen, Ken Anderson back in the day was a stud and everything, but I don't remember who he was spreading.
I don't remember at all. And their owner has the the shortest arms ever. He hasn't been able to reach his wallet for about 25 years.
Yeah.
The fact that he's ponying up these dollars is super impressive. So, and when you talk about old school wide receivers, we're going to get to that this show because we're not the home of $90 million in wide receivers. We are the home of some big bad dudes.
You have to be pissed based on this new, like all the rules have changed.
Yeah.
If you played in the 80s and you got the ever living shit kicked out of you at the wide receiver position, if you crossed the middle and were speared repeatedly and got back up and everyone still called you out for being soft, like they changed their
and you got paid, and you had to take a job.
Obviously.
Obviously.
And you probably got murdered out there, and it was like a 4-year shelf life for most. But man, did it pay, and man, did they change the rules, and man, has everything turned out well for the wide receiver. Shout out Jamar Chase.
I think that you're get ready for a lot of Bengals in prime time. I think that the NFL, and it's no dummy, putting Burrow, Chase, and Higgins under the lights on a regular basis sounds amazing, and it gives us a break from all the Jets. Thank God.
Oh God, what a kick to the Jets that was. The whole season was Jets.
Just what so much Zach Wilson on national TV that they said they were powerless to change. I'm like, how are you powerless? Just change it. So anyways, the Bengals big winners. I thought as far as like other things, obviously Khalil Mack, a guy that I would have liked to have seen. He gets wrapped up as well. He should. He's awesome. He's ageless wonder. As long as he suits up, he's gonna be one of the best players on the defense every single time. So smart on the Chargers for that. Trying to think of other pickups around the league. I mean, I thought the Patriots spent a lot of good money. I love Mike Vrabel as a head coach. I think you probably do too. You're okay with that?
I like him.
Okay.
I think he's a very good football coach, but he seems like kind of a dick.
He does seem like kind of a dick, but which makes him perfect for New England.
Yeah.
But they spent a lot of money on some big dudes up front on offense and defense, including Milton Williams. Thought that, and they have some.
If you got to guys, you have to get Milton Williams in every week.
Yeah, I know.
Homeboy played like 70 snaps last year.
Ernest Jones was re-signed also.
Ernest and Milton,
but not by us.
Anyways,
I think that Minnesota. I'm trying to think of like the younger quarterbacks, like Caleb Williams and the Bears. The Bears are big winners. Everyone loves all their pickups. They got three starting offensive linemen in free agency. That's crazy.
They needed 5.
They got 3.
Well, 60%. They got rid of one and another, so they needed 5. They did. I'm not even being shitty. They did need 5.
They needed 5.
Yes, there's multiple reasons why they got 5 on it.
And so that's interesting because you have Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and who's the second guy? He's better than.
I thought it'd be the third after you mentioned the first 2. Now you've confused me. And now we'll go back to
who's the third wide receiver?
Caleb some time. That'd be nice.
Those 3 wide receivers.
Nice.
Gosh,
I don't know. It's March Madness time. I'm inundated and all that, and my Redskin Commanders. I have no time for the rest of the NFL in March. This is time for obviously hoops, but right now it's been just as important for us, if not more so. The past week has been awesome, and we're going to get to that. But I'll be honest, Ken, I don't have that answer for you because I don't give a shit about Chicago.
No one does, but it's a
we Hail Mary bombed them and they lost 10 in a row.
Keenan Allen. And I don't know, was he a free agent?
Keenan Allen? He was a free agent.
Yeah, he was.
Because I thought he'd be a great guy to pick up. He's a perfect guy for a young quarterback.
Yeah.
I know he's older.
Well, he was there last year.
So, I'm sorry. They got him as a free agent last year, obviously.
Yeah.
But I thought he'd be the perfect guy for a young quarterback when they picked him up. And he is just a wide open kind of guy. And there's a guy out there right now that reminds me just of him who's still available.
Who's still available?
Is it Keenan Allen? Is my question.
It might be Keenan Allen. It might be actually Keenan Allen.
I think we've talked ourselves into a circle. A circular motion, probably based on me. Zacchaeus definitely is a Chicago Bear, but he just signed. He just signed with them, and I know that bums you out, but we weren't going to get all of them back. Those guys did. He did great for us last year. Good luck, and it's not very often in recent years we've kept those guys that left our franchise in high favor. We've been like, not like beat it, we hate you, but like.
We've been the end of the line for everybody, and now we're not.
Now we're a boost. Now we're giving people a boost into bigger contracts, more monies, and a better overall NFL experience.
Since we last spoke, Dante Fowler also on his way
Dallas,
on his way back.
$8 million.
Good for him. I mean, we kind of said he wasn't coming back. He kind of burned. At least lit a little bit of the bridge on fire, if not the whole bridge.
Once he lit the match, I was out. We don't deal with that anymore. We're done. Let's get a title before we get gripes again. You know what I mean? Sorry, buddy, it doesn't work. You were pretty damn good. You didn't play enough snaps, and you didn't do shit against the run. You were great against the pass. You were. But you can't be a one-trick pony and expect to get paid like a 3-down defensive end, especially at your age. Chill the fuck out. Take your $8 million. Go back to Dallas. You wanted the money. I get it. It's all about the money. There's a lot of guys in this locker room that are making plenty of it that been in this league a long time that are in it for a couple different reasons, including the money, which is always the most important.
Let him deal with Laramie Tunsil for an afternoon. Good for you, buddy. Good luck.
You will be swallowed whole.
Yes. The rest of the league news, unless there's anything people want to talk about, those are the kind of things I thought it was an incredibly turbulent NFL, first week or two of the new season, the new year.
I just wanted to interrupt you to say this. Can you please say our new left tackle's name again? I don't know if we've said it enough.
Laramie Tunsil.
Laramie Tunsil.
Oh, we're gonna say it some more.
Laramie Tunsil. I know. I just wanted to hear it because it sounds so freaking good.
Laramie Tunsil.
Laramie.
He's our exactly.
Laramie.
Gives us two new starters. Let's dive into this. Let's go ahead and get started with the first week of Adam Peters' second go round at free agency and roster building. And I thought it's very important to remember that and I mean, he came in, he clearly hated the roster. He didn't make you think differently with all of the actions. We came in with almost enough guys to help someone move from a 2-bedroom apartment to a 1-bedroom apartment, and we had a bunch of 1-year guys and some draft picks. You know what I mean?
I loved it.
There's no way in hell that he looked at what he was doing at the beginning of last year's offseason and thought, I'm going to the NFC Championship game. I mean, he never thought it was one and done. This was always a long-term project, and I think we can see it. So we're going to dig into position groups, what they're costing us today, and where we stand with salary cap scenarios in the near future. And I like to think, I've always thought the longest I really want to look out in the NFL is 2 years. When you have grown men wearing helmets trying to beat, as you said, the ever-living shit out of each other, 2 years is a long-ass time. And and I think that's a fair, perspective for a general manager who has to decide how far out to commit tens of millions of dollars. So we'll look at that too.
I like it.
Let's start here. First, I think it's important. Hold on one sec, you guys. We're going to be right back. I want everyone to just chill just for a second.
Hey,
we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Here you go. Here is our quarterback situation for 2025. These are all 2025 numbers, 2025 salary cap scenarios. This is courtesy of Spot Track. Some people call it Spo Track. I don't know what's right. I say Spot Track.
I say Spot Track.
Yeah.
SPOT looks like Spot to me, brother.
Yeah, me too. Jaden, Marcus, Sam. No change there. We have $17 million of cap space.
Well, Driscoll's a little change. I mean, he might, maybe not.
He may. I'm just saying as of right now.
I know you think Hartman's way more handsome. I'm just saying it's a good looking quarterback room, non-aesthetically.
It is a great looking quarterback room, and right now, I don't think that Driscoll's out of the mix necessarily, but right now we have 6.48% of team cap allocation towards quarterback. That's insane. That's outrageous. When you have one of the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the league, you're winning. This doesn't need to spend. We don't need to spend too much time here. We're dangerously close to only really being a team that wants 2 quarterbacks, but I think the rules allow you to go 3 and $960,000 to have an extra bearded, handsome dude.
Exactly. Why not? We'll have a third string guy be your bearded, handsome guy when you have arguably the best quarterback in the league. I know he's not the best in the league, but I'm saying arguably the best in the. How about NFC? You can argue about it a little bit, and arguably top 5 backups in the league.
I don't think that there should be any true real. I mean, because you're talking about top 5, there's a few good ones, but there there's still part of what makes him a great backup is that he's not angling for the starter's job, nor is any position where that's even a thing. And that's a big deal. Guys looking over people's shoulders. I mean, shit, for the last 20 years, we've been looking over the starter's shoulders and who's next and who's coming and so this isn't that situation.
Nope.
He chose it. He's a professional backup quarterback, and he's one of the best at it.
And I think it's also specific to the franchise here. He's perfect for us right now. There's no better fit. No better fit. We're not ready to bring a youngster in. We got a youngster in.
That's right.
We're not molding anything, and we'll start developing in a year or so. I get it. Another guy, because can you imagine a better guy to have be around than Jaden Daniels? Just do what he does. Anyways, no one's ever going to touch that. We're not
John
worried about
Stamos
that.
as a number 4. I like it. Greg Martin, just in case.
That's pretty decent there.
It's just a different mentality. For all the years when we didn't have Jaden Daniels, I was always looked very kind of longingly and favorably at, in particular, Andy Reid and Bill Belichick. Two very sexy. You did not look that way at them.
You didn't, and if you did, I'd like to leave now. All right, after the show.
I think they proved that you could still be an organization that develops quarterbacks when you have quote unquote that guy. Andy had Donovan for a long time, and obviously Bill Belichick had Tom Brady, and both teams developed guys behind him that came and moved on. So we're not that, but that's not our concern or our priority at all.
No. I was getting ahead of myself.
No, but there's room for it. But
it's down the line, no doubt.
I think when we get to the end of this, we'll kind of move on to running back here. Again, not a huge change in running back room. Really, only one name there that's different. That's Mike Wiley. Jeremy McNichols, they have him down as listed as a 0 cap. But obviously, they're going to pay him something. I don't know. I just don't know what that is. But at 3.8% committed to running backs, we have a teeny bit of gravy there.
Yeah, And I would like to add a little spice to the gravy in the draft, but that's okay. We'll get there too. Something that runs through you fast.
So the league it churns running backs. It just grinds them out, and they're in the league. They're out of the league. It chews them up and spits them out. Most every team starts. Every team finishes training camp looking for what running backs get cut by other teams, and I bet half the teams will switch out their last running back with somebody who just hit the street, because you just want to hit the game one with your best possible group of guys who can get it done, because there's an 80+% chance that you're going to have to start somebody who's not in your room on day one at running back, just because that's how brutal the league is. And you start with 3 or 4 guys. I mean, 3 or 4 running backs get hurt. That's nothing. I mean, maybe one's out for the season, but the other 2 or 3 are going to miss a week here and a week there because it's brutal. So that's why I like the idea of obviously drafting someone, which we have to do anyways. But we used to probably be in a better position to stash guys. The interesting part about, as we look at, for example, this running back, where are we at? This running back room. It's not sexy. And it wasn't sexy last year. I mean, Austin Eckler, kind of an aging vet. Brian Robinson, a hard hat, wearing, brutal guy, but not explosive. Chris Rodriguez, kind of scatty, tough, had a fumble, and Jeremy McNichols, old. He's 9 years in the league.
Also had a fumble. They both had kind of crappy fumbles. Yeah. But that's all right. That happens to young running backs. That's the good thing about this year. They're a little older than they were last year. And McNichol showed a little. Someone showed him a little attention. He claimed, and I'm glad he's back. He did good for us. You don't want to remember the fumble. He made a lot of positive plays for us last year. As a 3rd, 4th guy, he was great. How about that?
He ran hard when we asked him to run. That's your best. I mean, you could tell fresh legs were fresh legs. There's a lot of guys in the league at running back who are here for a paycheck, because they know as long as they can stand up right for a week or two, they can make a paycheck playing running back in the league. Guys like Jeremy McNichols and Chris Rodriguez, they came in with a reckless abandon when they had their chance, and that's what we needed. But you have to be able to stash 1 or 2 of these guys on your practice squad, and that's why the fumble actually works for us. The fumbles work for us because they do stand out in people's mind, even if it's irrational. And also, I do think that we'll find ourselves very soon on the receiving end of Adam Peters, envy or bias, or Adam. I think no one ever said, Bruce Allen, he was high on that guy. I mean, we should try to get him. But or Vinny Serrano for that matter. But if a team around the league is like, hey, Adam Peters is trying to stash this guy, put the paperwork in. I think we might actually lose a guy or two just because people think Adam Peters is a genius guy.
I get it. I get it. And I do appreciate that part of it. I just didn't want to let us not say Austin Eckler as well, because I know you're a big fan, and I wanted to say this to you, and I wanted to say a minute ago, how about us signing him to a 2-year deal last year? Everyone got a 1-year deal. 3 or 4 or 5, I think 3 or 4 got 3-year deals. I mean, talking about the Louvu's. I mean, Wagner and Shin didn't get their deal. Like, shit. This guy got a 2-year gig. It was very weird to me.
Yeah.
No one else did. Very strange. And very lucky to have him back to bridge this gap before new running back room world.
New running back room world.
Did you just Gareda-proof that whole entire scenario?
Well, I put it down so people could see Benjamin. He's out there. He doesn't get a lot of play, and we kept the 3 shot. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think that Austin Eckler. First of all, I also think it's the same way we got Cliff Kingsbury, same way we got Austin Eckler, same way we were because when those guys committed to us, we weren't the Jaden Daniels led NFC Championship, losing team. So whereas we could have and did get some guys on 1-year deals, but a guy like Austin Eckler, Anthony Lynn was a big pull for him on the coaching staff, and I think Brian Robinson was someone, because if you're Austin Eckler and you know that he's going to get carries, they're not going to pound you.
Sure, and he's like, that guy's not barely even faster than me.
And when we got to the playoffs and Austin Eckler was healthy, we all saw the offense that we put on the field. Yeah. He outsnapped Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
And that's
against certain defenses, he will. Against others, he won't. It's lovely to have both bullets in that holster. I just want one that comes out going 80 billion miles an hour once it's trigger squeezed. That's it.
So again, 6 point whatever percent for quarterbacks, 3.8% for running backs. I mean, shoot, we're not even at 10% yet, and we got our entire offensive backfield for our entire roster is paid for. That's interesting. Here you go. Here's your wide receiver room. Some of these position groups are a little small, Kev. I apologize.
Please just read them out.
Terry McLaurin, Debo Samuel.
I know those guys.
Luke McCaffrey, Lawrence Cager, Mike Strachan.
Cager's a tight end.
We got a Strachan on the roster.
I know, and the Strachan, he's from the Bahamas, from Grand Bahama Island, where I have dual residency. How about that?
I know you do. You were married there.
I was.
Lawrence Cager, yeah, you're right. I mean, he's listed as a wide receiver, but
he's a big old tight end. But I get it. And listen, we need big ones, but keep going.
Mike Strachan, again, a member of basically a brother-in-law to us. Chris Moore, Demetric Felton, Kaz Allen, Noah Brown, KJ Osborne. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
4
6,
guys
7,
that
8,
can
9,
play.
10.
One guy, I want to know what the hell Osborne's deal is, because I know he has a past history. He didn't do much for us last year. We brought him around again.
Who's this?
I'm just curious about Osborne, because I know we have 4 guys that can play. So KJ, there's 4 guys that I dig.
So, okay, how about this? I took some notes here, which you'll appreciate, I believe.
Wow, Ken.
And it'll be a common theme. KJ Osborne, I believe, is 5'11". He's got a couple pounds on him, but he would represent one of the smaller guys in our wide receiver room. We typically do have one. Alamedi was our guy last year. It's not Luke McCaffrey's 6'2", everybody. He's not our scat wide receiver. Even if he does play a lot of slot. Kaz Allen obviously has potential there. But interestingly, KJ Osborne, I think his best chance is to somehow, he is that smaller, more athletic, elusive cat who can get open and can run away with the ball.
I've seen him do that in the NFL. Just didn't understand why he was a 0 factor for us last year. Maybe it was just unfamiliarity. Maybe it was just a bit
Kirk
of an
Cousins?
Injury. Maybe it was.
Could have been.
You're blaming Kirk Cousins?
You know what? He gets a lot. He should take some. He needs to take a little bit of the blame sometimes. Kirk Cousins does. Don't you think? Wasn't he in Minnesota for a hot second?
I don't know. I'm talking about last year. Why he didn't snap for us when we needed a little help at the end of the season when we signed him. He just never was anything of a fan. It's fine. I thought he was a better player. I thought he'd have more of an impact. That's all.
It's interesting that we brought him back. So Adam Peters thought enough of him.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, we thought enough to add him, and we brought him back. So I think
I'm intrigued.
We can speak. I think that you can read into that. That's because if Adam Peters brings you back, that's something.
That's exactly. Well done, Ken. You took the words right out of my brain. But I was just trying to say. I'm looking forward to see what he can bring to the table because of what you just said.
And I think that Luke McCaffrey, here's another position group. We talked about it at running back also. And by the way, we got scarce resources now at draft, unless we do some finagling. The idea that a running back in the draft would be a fun / potentially necessary thing. At wide receiver, same idea. You could potentially go somewhere in the draft with wide receiver. Luke McCaffrey, his evolution is, in my opinion, is the linchpin to this whole scenario going forward, and that because Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel are in contract years. Both have voided contract years in 2026. Obviously, we don't want Terry going anywhere, I'm sure, and I'm confident we'll figure that out. Who knows what's going to happen with Deebo Samuel? Luke McCaffrey is a smart guy. He snapped like a bitch last year. I mean, he was on the field all the time. He made heady plays all the time. He's 6'2".
Can block his ass off, and he's tough as shit.
And I think
smart as a whip. Like that's the guy you want out there.
I think he has good hands.
Well, he's going to keep
vision
his elevation this specific season will be something to keep an eye on. That you and I both believe he will improve.
They want him to be the third guy. Last year was the fourth guy. I think they want him to be the third guy.
But I don't know if Deebo's a true two. And work with me here, but you know what I'm saying. He's not a traditional. How about that? Traditional two. Of course, he's a true weapon. Anyone's offense.
He's a weapon one.
Oh, yes.
He's a first tier weapon.
And so maybe this Luke can fit into some of the scenarios where now he's in at the slot. Luke can wide out because they trust Luke mentally. They trust him physically as a rookie. That's a lot of trust for a guy that snapped like he did last year.
Yep.
And I know that the production catching the ball wasn't what we are looking forward to and hoping for more teeters and blah, blah, blah. But he seems like a guy that can be depended upon, a guy that is going to be around here for a long ass time.
I think he's going to be around here for a long ass time too. And I love guys who are in football families. I think as much as you can say, and this is like kind of just like a sidebar example, you know, right into Mike and Pat Ward last Friday night, I guess it was, at your spot and KOC. And
I was talking, there, I remember.
And we were talking, and he was asking me about Derek, who's going to be here, and that's why I may have left this spot open. And he was asking me, he was like, hey, isn't his son blah, blah, blah. I mean, so our friend Derek, who you'll see is, you know, former professional basketball player. And if you're a high school coach and you know, like someone in your community is a former professional basketball player, you're going to
6'9".
You're going to ask about their kids. You're going to ask about their kids and what the sport they play and if they need a ride to school and all that stuff. So in a similar way, you know, you talk about the McCaffrey's football family, and I think this is my hope. I have zero. I'm not here telling you I have an inside scoop or anything, but let's just assume that it's not outrageous to think that Christian McCaffrey, in all of his brilliance, and because he's obviously a great athlete, but he's also a smart football player because their whole family's football players, professional football players.
Easy Ed, baby.
And
Easy Ed.
Christian McCaffrey is as good of a slot wide receiver as there is in the entire NFL, if that's what he wanted to play. He can play anything. And him and Deebo on the same field at the same time was pretty rough on defenses because they were both very capable of, in that first 10 yards, of getting open.
Yeah.
If Christian is talking to Luke, his brother, about how, because Christian ran patterns next to Deebo Samuel. They had a whole thing. There's nothing you can do about that on defense. If you have Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel running off each other, that's something that I think you can. I think Luke McCaffrey can take something from that. And I think that's the kind of guy who can benefit the most from that scenario. Maybe I'm grasping.
No. Here's why. Christian and Deebo is urge overkill. That was Kyle going like playing with too many freaking figurines, like stacking them up against the other guys and freaking out because that was too much.
Yeah,
that was too much badass. How do you spread it? Like they both need it. How do you do it? It never really worked perfectly. It was always a little bit off. Certain games it was monstery. This guy, the little bro, he knows how to make things work. Yeah. He is not. You don't need to just hand it to him. In fact, he doesn't really even need it as a rook. Took his role, took it seriously. Has been beefing up. Homeboy was a quarterback a year and a half before he got drafted wide receiver, guys. We have to understand what a great athlete he is, but there's some nuances. There's some things that you have to learn in the NFL game that aren't just handed over to a great athlete, but a great athlete can take them and learn them in 1.1 second from a great football family with a work ethic like Dave Behet.
He's taller than Christian, and he had I think he had a better shuttle or cone than Christian McCaffrey.
He's a freak athlete, but they couldn't figure out what he was for so long. Christian McCaffrey's an NFL running back. They thought Luke was a quarterback. They thought he was a receiver. They just knew he was a guy. He's a tool, and we're certainly
for a
happy
hot
to
second
have him.
He was going to be safety, which I'm intrigued by.
I like him better
at wide receiver.
That's over now.
He's an offensive guy. I think he's offense.
He is because he's brilliant.
Yep.
Also, because he's tough as shit and will block his ass off. And as he matures,
which is why he would be a good safety.
As a human being, you wait and see what he brings to this offense as the offense evolves with some of the draft picks we brought. Might just take 1 second to say I feel the same exact way about Sinnott.
Yes. Let's do it.
I don't want to even jump to it. I'm just saying the comp.
Yeah, we're at wide receiver. That's the next one. So let's do it.
But let's go. Let's jump right in. Because
talk about a room that doesn't change in fact at all. You have Tyree Jackson there. We talked about Cager already, but Sinnott elevates to that number 2 spot. Cole Turner. I said I didn't realize Cole Turner was still.
Yes, they have. He is relevant to this now somehow, some way. He's still been around, and he is marked down there. Look at it, number 5, right? Like he is on the something list.
I mean, he's on the 5. I think that's by money. So he's our 4th highest paid tight end.
We keep on keeping on with him.
And John Bates is clearly it's clearly Ertz, Sinnott, and Bates in terms of our top 3. We just don't have a salary cap number.
Don't forget about Yankoff, baby. Special teams matter.
And another guy who. Listen,
could fill the John Bates role. He is in the what I've just learned from the signing of John Bates is that's what Yankoff. That is what they're. Of course, they're using wherever they can. But if you can get out there and maul dudes, because that's the type of cat Yankoff is, the type of dude Bates is right now.
Yep. The same thing at tight end as some of the other positions that I was talking about in terms of how can you run what you're doing. With like Colson Yankoff coming in and playing John Bates' role. I actually give John Bates some credit. I don't think Colson is at the same level as John Bates necessarily.
Well, he's a far greater athlete, but no one's a better blocker than John Bates.
Colson Yankoff, if you have to put him in the game, you will figure out a way to throw the ball to him. I mean, Jaden is going to want to throw the ball to him because he's a strong
bastard. He needs to stand next to John Bates for the next year and a half.
Yes,
and I'm telling you, and it might not be Colson yet. It might be somebody, some young tight end needs to learn the tricks of the trade because apparently he's pretty special, and I dig that.
And also, listen, Zach Ertz, how many more years does he have left? No one knows. You always have to assume he's on his last year because of where he's at.
You have to.
And we are in offense even after Cliff Kingsbury leaves. We're not this offense isn't going to change from what we do now to something entirely different because of a coach, because we change offensive coordinators, because that's not who we are anymore. Now we have an offensive identity, and our offensive identity is very much driven by having 3 tight ends on the field at the same time for a whole lot of plays. And so if Zach Ertz isn't there and Ben Sinnott ascends to that number 1 spot and you have John Bates as a blocking tight end, someone has to be that 3rd guy. Colson Yankoff, just by the way, by virtue of his experience by the time we get to 2026 and by virtue of his athleticism and size and strength, which is exactly which we demand from our players apparently now, which we'll get into more,
especially in those roles.
He could be a snapdragon.
I think so.
Yeah, I think
Why
so
not?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fudge a snapdragon is, but I was picking up what Ken was laying down, and I think we all inferred that we're about to snapdragon Yankoff any chance we get.
We're snapping that dragon. 4%.
Snap one off.
4% at tight end. That's not, in my opinion, I don't know if that, it doesn't say what that is against the rest of the league. However, you can see that our NFL rank in terms of cash, cap, and annual average value or average annual value is, in the NFL, we're talking, nothing higher than the 300 level. So clearly this is an economical, budget-friendly tight end group that is possibly the engine of our whole offense.
I applaud. I applaud this group immensely. I really love it. I love everyone in the room, and I love that everyone's back, and it meant something last year because it really meant something to our freaking offense.
Yeah.
and we're old school. Remember, we always had 3 tight ends with Joe Gibbs. I
Always.
mean, come on,
H-backs,
Didier,
F-backs,
Warren, freaking. I mean,
R-backs, Y-backs.
there's so many dudes. Doc Walker, man. Listen, if we didn't keep 4 or 5 tight ends a year, thered be no Doc Walker.
Yeah.
How about that? How
That's
about
why-
all the Doc Walkers we didn't have in the last 20
There
years?
hasn't been an there hasn't been. Tell me if I'm right or wrong on this. There hasn't been an offensive evolution in the modern era of the NFL from the 60s to now. There hasn't been one major offensive evolution, and we can talk about how many of those there are. There's not that many. There's a handful at the most. They were all dependent on the tight end. Every single one of them, from the days of the Green Bay Packers and their offense, tight end, absolutely tight end dependent, all the way through the mid 80s with your your Mark Bavaros and your Dwight Clarks. All the way into the next era when you had, I mean, we could go all the way forward to like the Zach Ertz and those kinds of guys. But like tight end, the tight end is that, and it keeps getting reimagined. But the one thing that doesn't get reimagined is they're big, strong, athletic guys, 6'4" to 6'5", 6'6" dudes, and they're being asked to do a lot. I think they're going to find their average NFL career is going to start to look more like the running backs over time, because I think they get beat to hell by linebackers and safeties, as they're catching balls in the middle of the field. But the tight end at every step of the way has really been like Don Coryell into Joe Gibbs. The whole evolution of that mindset into the passing friendly era of the NFL. It was all. I mean, Kellen Winslow was all about the tight ends. I mean, they were the baddest asses on the field.
So let me just tell you, when it's true, everything you say is true, but there's one era that you and I have been alive for, and this is going to be an interesting little 2-minute conversation here. The greatest show on turf. Mike Martz is Vermeil's guy. He lets him go. He takes over. Belichick now becomes relevant. Tom Brady's a rookie. And all of a sudden, it's a wide receiver friendly. I mean, Marshall Faulk was the best running back in the game.
I think he's top two all time.
But also could have started at wideout and been a top 5 wideout in the
and
NFL
tight end
that year. But they did not value the tight end, and they're 3 wide. But it was not so there was one, and they were so great for how long?
Greatest
and how many championships did they win?
They got one.
Because who do they have to go up against? And if you don't have a freaking tight end against a Bill Belichick who has defensive ends who are 6'5", 280. Let me just ask you something. How big are our defensive ends going to be this year?
Oh, no.
We'll get to them. But if you don't have that, we're talking about the tight end now.
Dude, yeah.
Because of the D end. And here's why, Ken. I love this conversation. You're right. Get as many tight ends. The greatest show on turf was neat for about 5 seconds. They had a freaking Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame running back, and 2 possible Hall of Fame. They had a great offensive line. Leonard Pace is a Hall of Famer at left tackle. They had all kinds
Andrew
of
Whitworth.
They had everything.
No, he was not. He came later.
He came after
Pace.
Then
he went to,
So I cannot imagine having a better offense without a tight end than them. No one else ever has. No one else ever will, because they stopped letting us spread the field and just chuck it around. Like, this is a man's game. This is a grown-ass man's game.
They had truncated it also.
They did. And then until we took them off their hands for nothing.
We're stealing that guy from you. Try and win without truncating it.
For a replica Arches.
St. Louis.
It was terrible. But I know this. You need your tight ends, and you need your werewolf D ends. And I like that we picked up a handful of those guys.
Like, okay, so if you watch some of the, which I try to, and I'm not as smart as like someone like, I say like the nerdiest X's and O's guys online. I say that complimentary, larely.
Sometimes. But if they don't
I
understand the inertia that comes with holding one runner off and trying to get to the edge as they're debating it with crayons, that chaps my ass entirely.
I am with you.
Fair.
100%.
Fair.
I love that if you look at Cliff Kingsbury's offense and you really understand that the core of his offensive philosophy is multiple tight ends, if not 2, 3, and he's doing it with one of the most budget friendly, least sexy tight end rooms in the league. If you give Cliff Kingsbury, after he left Arizona, they drafted Trey. What's his face? Not McBride.
Lestrange.
Trey Lestrange. And and he's awesome. And you get this next generation tight end. At some point, he's going to get his hands on one of those guys, and I think you're going to see something happen to his, because I think his offense is so tight end, not dependent. Like he loves them. I mean, they're it. Like,
Only 1/3 of the league has a guy that's it.
yeah,
They all want it.
they all do.
It's why the position's so coveted. And when these Adonises show up, they just cannot help themselves, and they get overdrafted, and a lot of times they bust out. But like Njoku, almost busted out, was almost overdrafted, but he just stuck it out.
Yeah.
Because guys built like that, when they eventually figured out in the right place. Can I say that over and over again?
Sure.
In the right place. I believe now what we all believe. We're the right place. I don't care what you're looking for.
Njoku was Miami, right?
Miami, Cleveland. And we were always in the mix to have him. We were in the mix to get him before his second contract. We were in the mix to get him after he got it. We were always in the mix for a guy like that. And I was always intrigued because of his skill set, like the rest of the world is on badass tight ends. But you know what? Zach Ertz's wily ass getting open and being a crutch for the quarterback is an amazing thing to me. And
He's getting 2% of our salary. And 4% going to tight ends. I think we look good here in the tight end room. Let's move on to, let's see if I go to, all right, offensive line. We could spend a hot second here. We got $61 million allocated to our offensive line, 22.77% of our salary cap. No one's going to have a problem with putting a fifth-ish of your money towards arguably the most impactful position group. How about that? New left tackle. Beauty of Laramie Tunzel, whose name, Kev, you want me to say over and over again. Laramie Tunzel is our new left tackle, and signing him didn't just give us a new left tackle, it also gave us a new right tackle, Brandon Coleman. We now have bookend tackles. Brandon Coleman, he baptized by fire last year on the left side at $1.4 million, exactly 0.5% of our salary cap. A seasoned left tackle slides to right tackle so that Laramie Tunzel can come in. You have to argue on the offensive line, we look a hell of a lot better at the moment than we did a week and a half ago.
Holy hell. We have two dudes at tackles. Heading into last year at this time, we had 0 dudes at tackle. I'm sorry, we had 1 dude. Cornelius Lucas was a dude. Now, he was a backup dude and a swing dude and a plug-in guy. Different dude.
Got himself a job.
Yeah, no, listen, good for him, and he earned it. But now we have a real protector, and now we have a young buck that we really enjoy, who I think could be a hell of a, I think we all agree, name it. I mean, aside from center, he's going to be just fine. We don't need him at left, and Laramie's going to get some type of extension from us, I believe. We don't give up that much draft capital without extending that guy. I'm sorry. I love it so much that we went and got a left tackle. I think we've under-talked about it. Laramie Tunzel is an incredible dude. People adore this guy.
I will say this. I don't think we restructure or we re-sign him. Okay, 2 things. I'm an idiot, and I don't know shit, and no one tells me anything. So maybe part of the deal.
Ken, you're not an idiot.
People, maybe we
I'm
trade.
going to tell you that.
Maybe part of the trade was an understanding between us and his agents or whatever. Maybe. But I think that this organization under Adam Peters says, hey, listen, we're going to pay some guys. And if you are one of those guys, great. I mean, I think if he's maybe he doesn't have to necessarily go to week 6 or 7 being a great left tackle for us to give him a bunch of money for extra years. But I think he has to get into town, shake the right hands, give off the right look, which he's capable of doing. He's a stud left tackle.
He's also capable of the wrong look, and that involves a gas mask and a bong, which also, it's nice to see he's overcome.
Yeah, well, he
said he was going to drop it off next Tuesday.
He legalized it.
He did. He was like, thank God. I got a house in Maryland. And I was like, just let's talk later, Mr. Tunzel.
I'm just waiting for them to legalize these creamy biceps. At some point, they will.
They're legal down here.
They are legal. We call that basement legal.
I'm getting my creamy arms out of the shot.
NES.
Bro, we went, remember 2 years ago, we did the deep dive, 4 years ago on Trent Williams, and then we did the deep dive on left tackles and Hall of Famers. And the
Do you
elites.
think of him more as a guard than a tackle?
Who?
Trent Williams.
Stop getting a boner for a Trent Williams guard. He will not kowtow to anyone out wide. I know this.
Bruce Allen.
What
God damn you, Bruce Allen.
And I said, he's got 6-7 years on. We did the whole thing.
Yes.
Whitworth, him, like all the greats, the great of the athletes, the greatest of the great left tackles can play into their 37, 38, 39, 40, whereas the guards, and I think it's a totally different ball game.
Yeah.
They're mixed matching. They're putting a lot of, tackles are
rolled up on.
just sit right there, man.
Yep.
I got you. They're out in space a little bit, but their careers tend to last longer. The greats. I believe he's a great. Age 31, sir.
He's got 4
How
or 5
old's
years.
Trent right now? 38.
Yeah, I think
Even if he was half that, we got 4 more years out of him on a 2-year extension.
if we
at a
100%.
bargain that
100%.
doesn't cost us futures. That's the other thing. He's such a brilliant pickup.
Here's where we're going to start getting into the idea of what Adam Peters is all about, and he's told us this. This isn't us like reading, trying to read his mind. This isn't us putting a wet thumb in the air doing tea leaves. He straight up told us to our
mind
faces.
was good. The wet thumb I didn't like. The tea leaves, never seen him.
Wet thumb's not for everybody. He told us under no uncertain terms there's size, weight, reach, parameters for him. So check this out. I know this list has some names you might not know a whole lot about. Bobby Hart, he's 6'4", he's over 300. Julian Good-Jones, he's 6'5", he's over 300. Aneem Dankwa, dude, 6'7", 360. Nate Herbig, 6'4", he's over
what up,
300
Nate?
pounds.
Welcome, you big ass. Big ass.
Foster Serrell, another guy who I don't see on this list.
I think it was today. He's
Yeah.
gigantic. He started 3 times last year. Or, no, 3 years ago.
He's 6'6".
3 years ago.
Three something, 320,
He's
330.
gigantic.
So I'm just saying, and this is gonna be a common theme. I got some more notes. So that's like, there's no exceptions. There's no we're gonna randomly sign, Rocky Balboa, undersized Italian stallion. No.
Yeah.
They're all straight up like thoroughbred, gigantic dudes.
Yeah.
That's on purpose. I love it, and obviously they're not all gonna make the team, but that's the kind of those are the men that you put in front of your awesome Hall of Fame quarterback.
I agree.
The bigger and stronger, the better. And he's, so that's pretty cool. We'll see, obviously we start to see a lot of guys who, some of these guys obviously will not be on our game one roster. But again, you're seeing how we're building the room. Do we have, okay, now we transition to defense here. Defensive line. This is one of the last big lists here that are hard to read for some of our seeing challenged folks. But obviously Payne, Kinlaw, Newton, Armstrong, that's your top 4. The Javonte Jean-Baptiste, the Andre Joneses, the Sheldon Days, some of these guys who we drafted and brought in and kept around. But listen, we talked a little bit about the way that we're building this team. How about this at defensive line? Eddie Goldman, 6'3". He's a monster over 300. Viliami,
320.
Viejoko, 6'4", over 300.
I don't know who he is though.
Jacob Martin's he's a little guy. He is 6'2".
But he's a feisty ass. He's been around this league a long ass time, and I can't wait to see him make plays. Oh man, but he could also be playing a little linebacker and a little rush. He's one of those guys.
He's a Swiss Army knife there for Ken Norton
is.
Jr. But again, at defensive line, you see some of these guys. I didn't go. I'm not. Dietrich Wise.
How do you say it? Dietrich.
I said Dietrich, but
I like it. That's because I'm like Dietrich. No, Dietrich Wise, Arkansas, 6'5", 280.
Yeah, 6'5", 280. There you go. That's Jalen Holmes. He's a big boy also. That's what we're again. Adam Peters told us to our face, this is who I want out there.
Yeah. It's
about size and strength and reach. He wants 6'5" dudes crashing the corners. Javon Kinlaw coming in as an elephant end, we'd like to say. Now tell me you've heard that since I said it last.
I have not.
Okay.
This is specific to your elephant ass. It might be part of your elephantitis.
It might be part of I have an elephantitis of the Kinlaw. He's going to be a great elephant end. Let's just say it.
May God be with you during this time of trouble.
Thank you. I need all the help I can get. All right, let's get these tiny little pictures out here.
But let me
These
just
tiny
say one
little
thing
pictures
real
of big
quick.
boys.
We just made four guys. The 4 guys you just mentioned.
Mhm.
The law offices of Goldman, Kinlaw, Wise, and Harris. Sorry, Wise and who? Who do you want to make it? I think we just go Golden, Kinlaw, and Wise. The law offices of Golden, Kinlaw, and Wise.
Yeah.
They've been jamming it up your ass on offense. Call
up.
Goldman, Kinlaw, and Wise. You've been giving up 10 touchdowns in 2 playoff back-to-back weekends. Call the law offices. That's who we just called. And we'll find out if it works. But I have a good feeling.
Show us.
It just might. It just might. Because we just got really big and we got way better against the run.
Number one priority. Would you, using Kevin Ricca's body, would you demonstrate for the court where the offense touched you? Sorry. That's just why.
It was right here.
Kinlaw,
Ken.
Goldman, and
It was
Wise,
right
right
here.
in the heart.
I just made the heart. I've never done that before. It looks so weird. But you ask me a weird question, you're going to get a weird answer.
By the way, we still hate linebackers in this town. Apparently.
Oh, no, there's 2 we love.
I'm just saying. We don't have. The linebacker room. By the way, I hope the linebacker room is the biggest room in the building. I hope it has the most seats. I hope it has like 5 big screens where they just play plays. I mean, we have 3 linebackers on the roster right now: Luvu, Wagner, McGee. Everyone in this basement right now.
I'm putting Dominique in there. And you know who else we just signed to another 2-year? Your guy, 2 years.
Oh, yeah, Nick Ballore. I don't see him on the field as this linebacker.
I don't care. He is.
Okay.
He is one.
He is a linebacker.
At heart and soul, you have to embrace it right now.
Okay, fair enough.
He's back for 2 years. You know what he said? My son's 4. I want him to get to at least 6 so he can remember that I did play in the NFL because this shit's ending quickly after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad I got my 2 years. I'm like, bro, I want to go hang out. Yes, I want to hang out with you and root for ball. I love this guy. Can you pronounce the last name? There's a couple of Paisans here, and I'm guessing with is it Ballore?
I think it's Nick Ballore. I mean, you could go. I like to say Ballore, but
They always say it wrong or different every week. Everyone says it because he makes the goddamn first tackle of the game if we kick off.
Every week.
Unless it goes out of bounds. Then he makes the next first tackle of special teams because he's the baddest ass special teams player we've had around these parts in a long ass time. I love him.
Him, I mean, obviously we still have Reeves around. Reeves is a good special teamer, but we haven't. Nick Ballore. You know what? Let's say Ballore. I like Ballore.
Ballore.
Nick Ballore.
Nick Ballore.
All right.
That
Now
sounds way
on,
better.
it's Nick Ballore.
I'm glad we talked that out.
That's we're just made a Benjamin.
I write it down. It never sounds like Ballore, but now it looks so fun on the paper.
And he makes all the tackles.
He
Ballore.
makes so many tackles.
Ballore. All right.
An abundance of tackles. Ballore.
I mean, listen, Frankie Luvu and Bobby Wagner. We all believe Jordan McGee in this basement. 100% of the people in this basement believe Jordan
and Dominic
McGee is
Hampton's coming somewhere too.
play.
We'll see. But yes.
Jordan McGee is going to be a guy.
Jordan McGee is going to be a real freaky dude someday.
And there's not a lot of guys ahead of him on the depth chart.
No, that does not look tough.
So if he's going to have to do something.
One thing Adam Peters is doing, he's got a zipper down here. He understands when he leaves these type of graphics up, everyone's going to figure out what his game plan is.
He's like, wait a
We're not
second.
going to pay any tight ends, running backs, or linebackers. We're going to let all these people crash into each other. Whoever's left will scoop them up. They're part of the team.
And we have
the
all
toughest of the tough
kinds.
The Roman Coliseum
of defensive backs. Now listen, guy we haven't had a chance to talk a lot about. Is Jonathan Jones, because that happened since the last time we met. Jonathan Jones, listen, he's coming here to start a cornerback for us. He's going to likely be that third guy. It would be him, Lattimore, and Sainristil, and that's your starting 3. I, for one, will say 1-year deal, I believe, right?
1-year deal.
1-year deal. Jonathan Jones comes in. He's played in that Patriots defense, which is he's not a slouch. He's a hitter. He comes from it. By the way,
tackler,
a
physical sure tackler.
Isn't he? Is he related to Bones Jones?
Sir, I believe all Joneses are related at some level.
They are,
and I believe he is, and he is the Bones Joneser. I'd much rather have him.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's. All I'm saying is
board. Confirmed that I believe he's Bones.
Bones is, yeah.
I think he is. But I'm not positive.
I'm not positive either.
When there's badass dudes that look like
Chandler Jones, I believe. Cause there's 3 Jones brothers.
It's Chandler. Chandler's
is
the freak.
But there is a third Jones that played the football.
I know, but I don't think he was this guy. Anyway, I know this. This gentleman in New England who we haven't watched them in forever, right? Like, why would we? I'm talking about nationwide. You and I are never watching the Patriots randomly.
I was watching to see if Drake May was going to be any good, and not to derail it, but
I don't mean that, but yeah, nothing against them. I'm just.
How about this?
He wasn't.
When you talk about Jonathan Jones playing for the Patriots and the appeal of watching the Patriots, and I wanted to see if Drake May was going to be anything. Same way I'll feel about when I watch
someday he will.
JJ McCarthy this year. Same way I feel about when I watch some of these guys, Cam Ward and these guys coming out. Interestingly, this is the craziest thing ever. Of all the guys in the last year's draft, the quarterback draft that was super quarterback heavy, that had Caleb Williams. We did not even get the first guy off out of the deck. We got the second guy out of the deck, and a bunch of other guys, Bo Nix, Penix, all these guys,
and then specifically those guys, I think. But
and then you're gonna have
a couple,
Shador, Cam, maybe Jackson Dart again, and you talk about the allure of free agency for people wanting to come. Patriots signed a lot of big fat dudes to play on the line for Mike Vrabel, and I think Mike Vrabel was the draw. I don't think Drake May is the draw, and I think people are fine. I think Drake May is a good quarterback. I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
But it's so crazy when I watch these games on NFL, and I watch NFL Network at all hours, and any game that they're replaying, I'm watching, and they'll do the rookies, the rookie quarterback sweeps through, and it's like how we got the most exciting, most magnetic, most Hall of Fame esque guy. In not just this last year, but in like a recent like period, like it's hard to imagine like every year does not have a Jaden Daniels in it. Not coming out of the draft, but I'm talking after year one. You don't. There's almost. I mean, you broke all the records.
Thought it was Stroud.
Yes,
but Stroud's feet don't work as fast as Jaden's.
No, and
or brain.
And by mid-season, Jaden Daniels had shed himself of the CJ Stroud mantle
because he's quicker at life than CJ Stroud.
Yes. It's so I love it. And I love Bo. I have a soft spot in my heart for Bo Nix. I love watching him play football.
Yeah,
and these guys,
man.
Michael Penix,
cool
I think has a good future.
For.
But every year there's a Bo Nix and a JJ McCarthy and a Drake May and a Michael Penix in every draft. And they're all going to be professional quarterbacks. And they're going to play for anywhere from 5 to 10 years. And they might bounce around. They might not. But like there's not always a Jaden Daniels. And we got that guy. And you talk about Jonathan Jones coming from New England to here, and it makes you think about the strategy. As we do, like we're halfway through the depth chart. The strategy of filling your team. Last year, we had to bring a bunch of one-year guys in, partly because we were trying to get guys to come here for a year. People were coming to a team that just drafted second overall in the draft.
Audition. Just fired owner looking for people to fill in for this week's big production.
Not sure what our name's going to be in a couple of years. Not sure if we're going to all be sued through the heart. So it's interesting to me that he was so successful getting the right batch of one-year guys last year, and this year has been no different in terms of strategy from the one-year guys, and I think that's going to come into picture here.
You're damn right
as we move through, because
it just did.
Here's your offensive depth chart. Now this is a 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, which I disagree with, but anyways, it gives you a sense of you got Debo, Terry, and they're putting Noah Brown over Luke McCaffrey. I actually disagree with that, but I don't care.
That's because we're going to get somebody else there, but we'll see. Luke's going to fill in admirably. Noah will take a backup role to make sure anyone that needs anything can get it done.
Well, there was a comment on the board about there was a comment on the board earlier. I want to say it was Greg Martin about Noah Brown and Luke McCaffrey and how they will be whether one's wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4.
I don't think they define those terms.
No, And
It's
also,
by package. It's by package. It's
Yes.
by package. As an
And
O
Luke
coordinator at a
McCaffrey-
way worse level,
Yes.
it's by package.
by
There's certain
package.
things. There's certain packages that you're looking at. And this guy's the most dynamic, artistic,
Yeah.
freaking nut job by package. But there's
Yeah.
so many packages, more than like the 3 I've dealt with in life. There's 100 packages. 30 of them have him in there.
The
Let's go.
best part about Noah Brown is whether you think of him as wide receiver 3 or 4. I don't really care.
Don't matter.
I think he was first or second in the league last year at drawing pass interference penalties. He is a physical player in the
Yes.
middle of the field. You can't miss if you get into Noah Brown. Like a referee can't miss it. Noah Brown's gigantic, so he's there to be physical, and he's not going to. With Deebo Samuel and Terry McLaurin on the field, he's not going to be drawing the other team's best cover guy. So automatically, there's a chance for a penalty just because of that.
Yep.
Not to mention, he actually has a knack for slowing his route down, getting into. He's like a basketball player drawing a charge. He's very good.
A
at it.
wily power forward that's played on playoff teams
Yeah.
for a decade in the league. You're very right. That's why I love him. I know he's not running by your ass.
No.
He's a crafty physical monster that will throw your ass out of the way or trick your ass.
And he wants the and one. He wants to draw the penalty, but he also
Exactly.
wants to make the catch.
He absorbs contact on purpose.
Yes.
To separate.
Yes.
It's like the 6 foot guy going up against the 6'8" guy. You have to
Just a little bit.
You got to give him the contact.
And you're gonna
to
bounce?
knock him back, so
Yeah.
you can create space for yourself. Zach Ertz does the same shit perfectly.
Yep. Noah Brown is going to continue, hopefully, to do that for us.
And I say that they both have a quarterback that understands old school game and gets that
And
perfectly.
throws it
It's
to the-
such a great combination.
Throws it to the shoulder
God
blade.
damn, does he feed the post like a freaking veteran?
Right there.
Number 5 does everything
Right there.
perfectly. Some people don't understand how important the 4-yard throw is. Yeah.
It's-
Nose down, so it can't be deflected up for the next 3 levels to intercept. He does everything so proper at a young age. It's bonkers.
Greg, cue up the movie draft. We're going to get that started right away to close out the show.
And just so you know, Coleman, Greg,
Derek,
I do say Coleman to right.
get ready.
And Wiley to RG. I do believe that, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. But that would be my first inkling. He wrote it, and I said it. I just read it.
So yeah, Allegretti is definitely going to start at guard. Allegretti and Wiley
No
have to start at
doubt.
guard,
Of course.
until Cosby comes back, and then who
Well,
knows
he
what
said, a
happens.
lot of people are saying Coleman could be a great guard, which I agree with.
Sure.
But I think with a guy with that type of feet and athleticism, burliness, bastard, long arms, right tackle seems to be he could be an all-pro there for many moons.
I don't disagree with you at all, and he continues to be he continues to return massive amounts on our investment. You invest a 3rd round pick in someone. He plays left tackle for you for the first year. He transitions for another. I mean, it's outrageous.
You know what he's best at right now? Pulling at guard, pulling at tackle.
So I'm
running counter. What he does athletically in space, he looks like a fullback. He is stupid good. We can play him anywhere we want. Just don't put him at center because don't pull that guy enough. We need his athleticism on the perimeter.
He could so my one thought about Coleman is you could it's like divided into 2 things. If you put him at guard next to Wiley, it might make Wiley better. I don't know if that's true or not. That's something. But if you put him,
It certainly will. But
but if he is that good of a pulling guard, then there's potentially a spot for him over the long. I mean,
there is, but you don't want to be double teaming with a guy that's that athletic. And athletes like that can pick off corner, safety, blitzes from the edge with 3 kick steps and one of these. And not many of those God's built that way. Just being honest. There's very few men on this planet that are built that way, that can kick step with peripheral vision, staring straight and take a corner in the NFL, a 6'1", 210-pound missile. Or a 6'2", 230-pound missile, and have them while they're handling a 300-pound monster. He's built
Jake
this
Martin
way. Exactly.
They'll
deal with each other all summer.
By the way, we didn't talk about the last part about the cornerbacks.
Sorry. There's questions coming out here, Ken.
But the one we addressed the Coleman to and Wiley thing at cornerback. Kevin Seymour 6 foot, Alan George 6'1".
Who the hell is Alan George? I'm glad you've been doing your note taking. I think he was on the Little Redskins roster.
Where's my?
No, but I know what you mean.
But
All the guys
on.
that we had to sign, we had 7 guys signed in the offseason. We had to pay somebody for tax purposes, I believe.
My guy? Dang it! I got another 6 foot wide cornerback that is not showing up. But either way, also, but Bobby Price, 6'4". I mean, so and these are all veteran guys who.
That's why that guy signed. Bobby Price is 6'4".
He's 6'4". I'm just saying, like I looked at all the guys that we brought in, and it is like a Russ Meyer film. Like we are just straight up just drafting. I mean, we're taking they're all busty blondes. I mean, that's just all there is to it. If you don't know what a Russ Meyer film is all about,
I don't, but I am familiar with.
It's like the Seinfeld episode where the guy's only hiring chicks with big boobs, but it turns out to all be his daughters. God bless him.
That's terrible.
Listen,
you just ruined the whole bit.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
God, I don't want to watch any of these guys move. That's my whole biggest fear.
Here we go. We did the offense. Now let's do the defense just to wrap it up. I got all of everything in here. Okay, there's your Dietrich Wise on the outside. Cleveland Farrell re-signed. Payne.
You know what? That was interesting.
Yeah. Payne, Kinlaw, and Armstrong on the front. Listen, that puts Newton in a reserve role, which he's basically like a starter. He will be a starter. Sheldon Day.
Rotate. That rotation. It's that 49ers front four rotation. Everyone's going to play a shit ton of snaps. I had it written all down, but I'm telling you, Goldman averages about 20 a game. Martin, 22 a game. Wise, 19 a game. Kinlaw getting his 40 because he's a badass last year. Payne had 44. About 58 plays per game average.
Yep. He's gonna lead our snaps. And again, Kinlaw being able to play that many plays, because I was looking at the same thing. Him snapping that often. Again,
he was a freak for the Jets last year, and
he was out of position.
He played every position.
I know.
Did whatever they said.
But
if you watch tape, he manhandled anyone in front of him. Anyone wants to bitch at him, have at it. You deserve it when you lose.
And we're also paying him sub market value for a starting defensive lineman.
So his third year, before Peters could give him that fifth year, he declined it because he obviously should have. He had 2 hurt years after a great rookie year. Going into that fourth year, he had a badass year. The option had already been declined, Ken. He goes to the Jets. Peters comes to us. He knows he loves this guy. He's seen this guy forever. He can't wait to have him back. He understands how he's matured. They brought him along. He watched him grow into the guy that he is. And now he eventually became the guy. Did he decline that option? Yes, he had to. The guy played 10 games in 2 years. Did he re-sign him now? Because he's the one that saw him develop. It's one of the most brilliant things I've ever witnessed. Like
and to a 3-year deal.
Jonathan Allen's about 290, 295. He's listed at 3. He's a young buck, freak athlete. He's not a space eater. This guy's the athlete and the space eater at 6'5", not 6'3", 325, not 295, and a freaking 2-inch difference on the arm reach. I love this pick. Hate it all you want. Hate it all you want. He's not even an end, but he can be the elephant end, right?
No, but it's not
he's
an end.
A stalwart tackle too.
The whole job of that position is basically be an interior edge setter, which is like a crazy idea. You know what I mean? Like it's just like get a huge, big, strong defensive
when Brandon
guy.
Coleman's pulling. And you're an edge setter on the inside. There's a reason why you're an inside edge setter. There's 2 guys pulling to kick out. There needs to be 2 edges set. Specifically, although I've never really heard it talked about, it makes perfect sense.
Yes, that's what you want.
Of course it is. And you see those 2 guys coming that we've seen since we were little kids.
Yep.
If there's only one guy there, guess what happens next?
Some little guy's getting creamed in the second.
I haven't heard someone say someone's getting creamed in a long ass time.
I
just got creamed, bro.
I got creamed.
I just got creamed. Yeah,
I mean, Derek Elphick never got creamed. He was always a foot and a half
taller. I guarantee you, Derek Elphick got creamed.
Okay,
listen, I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. You go up against somebody and compete long enough. Someone's gonna cream your ass.
I can still feel the effects of the creaming I took.
You just want to be the creamiest. From my perspective, if you're the creamiest,
these creamy biceps. Oh, I got
rocked. Fuck, Ken's the creamiest. I just said what I believed in, and now I have to cater to these terms.
It is.
You're the creamiest, Ken. I apologize.
I try so hard. The people
do a great job.
People are getting creamed. That's just the end of the day. Kinlaw and his presence as a interior edge setter is huge.
Yeah.
By the way, scheme-based tinkering.
Yeah, no doubt.
Scheme-based tinkering.
No doubt.
So that I think that kind of closes things out.
Does.
Except for I have this.
It does.
I have this for you. So we get all the way here. No big. Jones, Lattimore, Sainristil, Will Harrison, Quan Martin. I think we're happy with the names on this paper. We'll see what happens between the draft. I think we talked about where I think defensive line, wide receiver, running back, maybe Actually, no. Wide receiver, running back, and defensive line. You really come into focus. When I say maybe maybe Nick Amenwari falls to you at 29 and you decide to take him. Maybe that's okay.
Might just say that what I do love about the way the roster is set right here, right now, today, the way you just showed it, the way we talked about it, the cool shit that happened all week during March Madness that other people might not have mentioned, but this board has. We are in the position to do what we do, which is what? Draft the best available.
Draft the best available. That's right. So that takes us to.
We are so smart at this.
We came into
what the shit, man.
This previous offseason after Adam Peters definitely hated our roster and decided that we were going to be
remember
changing
his face
things.
when he paused? He was like,
it was essentially there's fine. I believe there's fine people on both sides. That was his moment. That was the Adam Peters fine people on both sides moment.
He had to pause. Though.
He was like, I'm going to take crap no matter what anyone says. We had half a roster, and we filled it with some draft picks who are going to be here to stay for a few years. We filled it with a few multi-year free agents, not very many. And we entered this offseason needing another full complement of 20-plus players. The 2026...
Almost 30. Shit.
Almost 30.
Yes.
2026... And the story of our offseason was quarterback in place, lots of salary cap space. And so
stop the run.
So stop the run. So you build on that. So you try to lock up more and more spots on your roster for more than just 1 year. Again, I think 2 years is really like looking out there, but 3 or 4 years is really like idealist. 4 years is an eternity in the NFL. And we talk about our salary cap space. Now, salary cap space is most useful to teams that in years where there's good free agents and you're a preferred destination. And we've had salary cap space, and we've had to just blitz through it to get maybe one guy to come who just wanted the money.
Just sell a couple tickets.
2026, our active roster right now, as it stands, is 27 players. So we get out of this season, right? The way it stands right now. Now, obviously, we're going to have draft picks, and that's going to change. But that includes Terry and Debo. They're both on avoidable years. So really, that's 25 players currently in our 2026 plans right this very second. That puts us with $134 million in 2026 salary cap space. Based on the way it stands right now, that makes us top 10 in the league again. Okay, so it's an interesting strategy that he's rolling forward. And speaking of rolling over, in 25, as things stand right now, we're rolling almost $30 million of salary cap space from 2025 into 2026. That won't be the final number, but that's what it is as of right now. So that's not necessarily increasing our like fixed position in terms of how many players like we're committed to over the long haul. Every year it seems to be that same 25 to 30 guys. And that's okay. And
maybe 5 this year and 7 last year, right?
For draft picks.
Yes. That's it.
And then all the guys on that 2026 active roster. I mean, that includes all of our draft picks from last year. Quad Martin and Sam Cosmi, who I believe are the only draft picks that we have left in our starting lineup from then. I could be mistaken, but I think that's right.
You gotta be right.
And so in 2027, the guys that we're committed to for the next in year 3,
Bates.
Bates, 18 players, and that 18 players includes 5 guys on void years. So that's 13 guys. So all this that and I don't necessarily think that's completely outrageous. I think there are teams that have plenty more guys than us signed through 2027. And in fact, I know that we're in 2026. We're the 24th ranked team in terms of offensive spending and the 15th team in terms of defensive spending. So we're right kind of in the middle of the pack to the end of the pack in terms of how much money we have committed more than 1 year out. And the reason why I bring this up is we talk about roster building, we talk about a rebuild. We said there was never a 1-year deal. Getting to the NFC Championship, as great as it was, does not change the fact that when we entered last year's offseason, this was more than a 1-year project. It's crazy the results that we've already gotten, but you can see it in our roster. We are not there yet. We have so many positions available, in terms of
I do believe we're still recalibrating.
Yes, still recalibrating.
Which is a great term because it's what happened. So there's no reason to shrug it off. And we overachieved late in the season.
Yeah.
And we showed who we are moving forward and what we got. So yeah, man. We are certainly still recalibrating.
Fallon something or other.
Yeah, that's our new
that's our newest cornerback.
Our new tackle.
No, he's a cornerback.
What's his name?
Fallon.
I can't read your illegible handwriting.
I have the worst handwriting ever. All right. Hey, Greg, you want to join us for this draft, for this final draft about comedy movies from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s?
Derek, that's you. You said Greg.
Derek.
He said Greg. You did say Greg.
Greg's got it for us.
I know. What you meant to say was, Derek, please come sit here.
Please come sit down in this chair and block everyone's view of Benjamin. Let's get you involved in this, sir. Good to see you. Welcome. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday.
Get up on this. There we go.
It's like an early Tuesday. Look at this guy.
Guys, this is like it's certainly Ken's favorite guy in the neighborhood, and I'm not in the neighborhood. I'm right outside the neighborhood.
No, I'm not in the neighborhood either.
But they're both my favorite guys in my neighborhood.
Derek doesn't want us. People who live in Derek's neighborhood don't want us saying we live in Derek's neighborhood.
I didn't say the streets.
Put on your headphones.
Let's just be careful. Greta might have put a.
Yeah, you're putting on the George Gareda.
Because last week, all
and he unscrewed the microphone somehow, some way. Here, go ahead.
Then he took a bite out of the foam. He was starving.
It was crazy. All right, talk straight into there. See what.
Hey.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, here's what we're doing.
Let's get this stuff done.
We're doing comedy movie March Madness, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 1970s. Blazing Saddles versus Slapshot.
Oof. Oh, that's a horrible question to start off with.
I'm gonna say Blazing Saddles. I know everyone likes Slapshot, but I'm going Blazing. Does anyone want to take Blazing Saddles over or Slapshot over?
I can't.
Saddles?
I can't.
All right, it's Blazing Saddles.
Unanimous.
Animal House versus The Jerk. This one, I hate the Selection Sunday Committee. As a first round matchup, this makes me upset. These are two of my foundational movies from the 70s, and I can't.
Animal House versus The Jerk.
Yeah.
Animal House versus The Jerk.
I love both of these movies so much,
man. So it's one I watched. Derek, I'm just going to say, I'm not sure what year there, but one I watched at a way younger age over and over again, The Jerk.
Yeah.
And one I, watched older.
Yeah.
So there's a recency bias here for me.
Great boobs in Animal House also, keep in mind.
No, but eventually, all right, it's fucking Animal House. I watched it 100 times.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. There's no
I really like
fighting
The
it.
Jerk, but it's Animal House.
It's
Animal
Animal
House
House.
is all time. Man.
It is. I love The Jerk. Animal House
Yeah.
is unanimous. Monty Python and the Holy Grail versus the Bad News Bears. I'm a Monty Python guy. So
I'm a Bad News Bears guy all day. It's not even close.
Python.
Yes.
How
Monty
do the
Python.
Bad News Bears go out in the first round?
Because they're the Bad News Bears. Because they're the Bad News
No,
Bears.
I have a thing at my house that is called anyone that is an American movie versus a British accent movie wins. And I hate you guys for disproving my theory that not everyone believes in.
The Holy Grail is such a great movie.
USA.
Young Frankenstein versus Silver Streak. Now this by the way, this is a matchup that I'm gonna go ahead and
This could have been seeded different.
yeah, these guys are first round. These are both in Greg understands wrestling analogies. In 1980s wrestling analogies, both of these contestants would be wearing baby blue Speedos and being introduced as like Dave Jones as they came in to wrestle like Hulk Hogan or Junkyard Dog.
Well, nice, because this question is like two frontal wedgies by
Yes.
Mean Gene Okerlund.
That's Mean Gene Okerlund is wedging both of these guys. Does anyone
Frontally. And it's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Leapin' Lenny Poffo.
and they're going up against like a
They're
guy,
brothers, I think.
a guy
or
with
cousins
a guy
or
with
something.
a perm and a bright red Speedo. You know who's gonna win this match.
And I do know Macho Man and Leapin' Lenny were brothers. Don't correct me on the thing.
I'm gonna go Young Frankenstein just because it's a banger.
What was the other one?
Silver Streak.
I'm gonna go Silver Streak. Just to
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I don't know that I
Putting on the Ritz, baby.
I saw them.
All right, so Greg Martin's gonna post all the first rounders. Okay, 1980s. Planes, trains, and automobiles versus Airplane.
Oh man,
This one's, but by the way, this one
that's so hard.
No,
Those aren't two pillows.
Planes,
It's
trains,
fucking
and
Airplane. I'm done.
automobiles.
Man, I got the pizza in the pot, run the fish in the garden. Ain't no thing. Just lay 'em down, smack 'em, and yak 'em. It's Airplane, baby.
I'm going planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh, you white
I
bastard.
can't believe I'm with Ken again.
Yes.
I'm with Ken again.
Is this a Brigham Young University recruiting ploy?
But it just has to. Personally, to me, Planes, Trains is a special movie.
It's a special movie.
I get it.
Special
But
movie.
Jesus H, guys.
All right,
Those
Trading
two-
Places versus Fletch. Some Saturday Night Live alums.
Trading Places.
Trading Places. I'm not
Trading
going,
Places.
Oh,
Fletch
Ken-
is all right, but I never.
My
Fletched
brother
that.
Joe would.
Fletch could have been so much better, to be honest.
It's
in
a
my,
cult-
in my opinion.
It could have been so
I
much
thought
better.
it was gonna be great.
Yeah, it
It was
wasn't.
like
My
it
brother's
was all right.
all over it. All right, so
Chevy Chase kind of
this
makes me.
is
I sometimes
Spinal
love him. I
Tap
sometimes want to just choke him out a little bit.
versus Ghostbusters.
Oh,
I'm Ghostbusters all day.
It's not even close for me. Who are you gonna call? The Ghostbusters.
I mean, Spinal Tap's great. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, Derek, get in there now and give your Spinal Tap. But
I'm going Spinal
it to
Tap,
11,
but that's
bro.
because I'm a guitar guy.
I get it.
yeah.
That's because I'm a.
This one goes to 11.
Once again, the British accent shit comes in deep.
Yeah,
and
there
you
you
guys
go.
are so British. I did not
Goes
know you guys
to
are so old world.
11.
Old world bastards.
Caddyshack versus National Lampoon's Vacation, the original. Now, I think this is one of the harder ones for me because I definitely love both of these movies.
It's there's two comedians in one of them, and it's called Caddyshack that I
Bill
cannot.
Murray and
Well,
Chevy.
No, I just told you. I
Rodney.
like it. Thank you. I might want to beat Chevy up.
And Rodney.
I might want to secretly beat Chevy Chase.
But
up.
the good thing about his role in that movie is it's kind of like it's
Cool.
like wants you to beat him up.
Yeah.
Also-
Like,
Ty
like
Webb.
that's- Yeah, Ty Webb.
no. But for me, I loved it. Like
Yeah.
I got booted from congressional for taking a dump in the azaleas. Well, the line in the bathroom with all the freaking 90-year-olds was so long.
Who among
and
us?
Something was happening.
Who
You tell
among
me
us?
what the answer is.
Yeah. Well, you made the right decision.
Well,
Azaleas don't poop on themselves.
I didn't.
as we know.
And really, nothing came out. They just saw me over there with my cheeks hanging out.
The old monkey tail.
Not yet.
All right. We're going Caddyshack on that one, right, boys?
Yes.
All right. 90s. Wayne's World versus Austin Powers. A Mike Myers versus Mike Myers.
Well, that's the first head-to-head same guy, which
Yeah.
is interesting.
I love them both. You know what? I mean, they're both quintessential 90s. I mean, Wayne's World's early 90s. Austin Powers late 90s.
I'm going Austin Powers for the sole reason that Wayne's World, if overdone, is horrendous.
I've watched Wayne's World so many times. I love them both. I'm going Wayne's World.
I'm Wayne's World.
You motherfuckers.
But see, Wayne's World.
What in the shit?
Wayne's World, I had on repeat.
Yes.
Wayne's World, I had on repeat.
Yeah, that would have made me hate it worse.
Groundhog Day.
It was 90 minutes, dude.
You're not gonna like this
F
one either.
you guys.
Groundhog Day versus There's Something About Mary.
Oh man.
I'm Groundhog
It's
Day.
Groundhog Day all day
I'm Groundhog
for me.
Day.
Sorry, Derek, but see what you think.
I'm sorry. I'm going out. I'm going something.
Thank God
about
I'm on the
Mary.
right side of the vote.
Something
It's fair.
about
It's fair.
Mary.
It's fair.
Yeah.
But Ken and I never pick movies together
Have
over
you
another
rewatched,
human.
Have you rewatched Something About
Yes.
Mary in the past 5 years?
I have.
So
Yeah.
I have. I
Ben
watched it the
Stiller,
last year.
Ben Stiller might as well be a British man as far as I'm concerned.
I'm a big Ben Stiller fan. I love Zoolander. Is one of my all-time
Hello.
favorites.
Good day, Pip.
I love Zoolander. I think that's his best movie ever.
I would like to punch Zoolander in the face, nuts, and torso with a 3-piece combo as quickly as I possibly could train to that level.
Dumb and Dumber versus My Cousin Vinny. That's a good one. That is another good one, and it also tests. Both of these movies are incredibly rewatchable. I'm gonna go Dumb and Dumber.
I've only voted against Steve Martin once. I'm not going to do it twice. You go and melt all this stuff.
Dumb and Dumber.
Fucking A, man. I'm just getting drilled over here.
Wait, Steve Martin's not in My Cousin Vinny. What are you talking about?
Whoa, you gonna melt all this stuff. What was the redheaded's name in the freezer section?
Wait.
and he was a gangster. Steve Martin.
Oh, you're talking about My Blue Heaven. You're
My
gonna
bad.
melt
These guys are
all-
right. I was wrong. I was getting mad. I was
By the
getting
way,
stomped
My
on.
Blue Heaven is an amazing
My
movie. Rick
Blue
Moranis,
Heaven.
Joan Cusack,
There was an interesting
Steve
one.
Martin.
I had a moment of
a lot of
suit-
salsa dancing.
Yeah, no, a suit, a Steve
Yeah.
Martin, and an accent. And I'm sorry, my cousin Vinny with Marissa Tomei and the whatchamacallit, her
Joe
cousin is the
Pesci.
Yeah.
lawyer.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
my cousin.
all right. It's a very good movie.
It's a very good movie.
It's a very good movie.
But I love My Blue Heaven. I think it's a very underrated movie.
I'm
I think
sorry. I just had a My Blue Heaven. I just had
Yeah.
a senior moment.
You're going to get
Eesh.
melting all this. All
You're
right.
going to melt all this stuff.
Billy Madison versus Office Space.
For me, it's Billy Madison all day. Honestly, I'm going to fight someone. I'm going to tackle this.
I'm gonna go Office
You
Space
son of a bitch.
because I'm a Happy Gilmore guy over Billy
Yeah,
Madison.
you're a stapler guy, is what you are.
I'm a stapler guy.
Yeah. Go ahead, Derek.
I'm around
Go
here.
ahead.
You don't
Derek.
want to hear what
I
I'm
know.
saying.
Let's
Let's
so you all know,
go.
I live on the
Office.
other side of the
Yes.
tracks here in Kensington, and we
Oh.
get different movies on our cable package, apparently.
Classic. All right, 2000s. Here we go. 40-year-old virgin versus Super Bad. Both, in my opinion,
40-year-old virgin all day, hands down.
All day.
all day.
Oh, my God.
And I love Super Bad, but it's not 40. 40-year-old virgin's the best.
No, the
It's
guy in
so
Superbad ruins it. Those two are kind of dicks, and they became dicks after that movie was. That was their best. Jonah
That's
and
right.
the other dick.
Michael
they
Cera.
were great. Yeah, and then now they're just not even Michael
Yeah.
Cera. The glasses guy.
McLovin?
Oh, McLovin. Yeah, they're all dicks. Sarah, McLovin, and Jonah all turned in their dicks. Am I wrong?
I don't know. Well, Emma Stone's in that. I don't think she's a dick.
No, she's cool.
She's great.
The other guys are dicks.
Bill Hader and Seth
I love
Rogen.
Bill Hader and Seth Rogen. I
They're
like
great.
Bill Hader. Seth Rogen's off.
Yeah, he's a little off.
He's off, but he's fine. No, they're not dicks.
They're not dicks.
I feel like those weird guys became like so important. I don't
Well,
know.
because Seth Rogen got all wrapped up with James Franco, and everyone found out James Franco decided to teach a college class so he could meet college girls. And it's like, wait a second, that's not why you should be teaching college classes. And then it became a thing.
I know, but why is Seth telling anybody what the fuck to do?
No. Seth Rogen was butt buddies with James Franco
They
for a while.
hate
They
each
were,
other now.
I know, because of that. Because they were like partners on movies, and all of a sudden Seth Rogen's like, maybe you should have told me you were grooming college freshmen.
I like to. I agree with everything you're saying. I think he's better in serious movies. No, not Rogan. Who's the guy?
Jonah
who's that
Hill.
like- Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Wolf
Yeah.
of Wall Street. Jonah
Yeah, of
Hill
course.
Oh,
is a
of course.
legendary
Yeah.
performance.
Jonah
It
Hill,
is.
by the way, Jonah Hill has done some amazing. Wolf of Wall Street, I have to say, is probably
He's
my
great,
favorite role
but
of
he
his.
wouldn't be that great if he wasn't a grade A dick.
That's right.
It
Yeah.
takes a real dick to understand how to fill that role.
He was good in Moneyball. I liked him in Moneyball.
He was
too.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
He's good at a lot of shit.
This
He's
is,
a
by
dick.
the way, this is a 16 versus 1 all day. Meet the Parents versus Old School.
Mm.
I mean, to me, it's Old School.
It's a just happens to be a tough, unwinnable matchup for me to parents.
Mhm.
You know, but
And you
that's
hate
a
Ben
great.
Stiller. And you
Not for
hate Ben
me.
Stiller.
Not for me. I would like Will Ferrell to catch Ben Stiller in shotgun and punt him on second down.
Second down.
And 2. Just let him rip. Just if you get the opportunity, you punt Ben Stiller. Proceed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you love him,
Borat
and I
versus
don't.
Step Brothers. No,
Step Brothers. Not even close.
It's not
even
even close.
It's not even.
Yeah.
I'm not a
That's
Bo-
a bad. Yeah. It's a
I
bad.
think I've appreciated Borat more and more, but it's not anywhere close to Step Brothers. American Pie versus The Hangover. This is, to me,
Hangover all day for me.
I'm American Pie guy.
Wow.
I'm a
I know.
hangover all day.
Yeah, that was not close, but I get it in that moment. And that had to be 99.
Yeah, because it's going as a 2000s, but I think it does span the time frame. I am a sucker for that series. I love it. I love it to death. Like it's right down my alley. It's like a buddy comedy of a girl, and they just stay with them for movie after movie after movie. I'm down with it. I love it.
Sorry, I had a little
and
something.
I will say
I had a
this:
little something in my diaphragm.
my best friend, one of my best friends in college, his older brother was Jason Biggs' manager out in Hollywood. And
Jason
so
Biggs is fine. He seems like a positive, happy
he
guy.
just seems like a
I have
positive,
no
happy-ish guy.
problem with Jason Biggs.
he was a good dude.
He hosts the local concert at Ocean City every year
Yes.
now. I don't know if you
It's,
know this. Ocean
CU,
settings or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Ocean Whatever. It's hosted by Jason Biggs.
He's putting some dough out.
Yeah.
And is making it happen.
He's making it a lot more on the return. Because he's come back for 2 years, which tells me Ocean's Calling. Ocean's Calling in Ocean City, Maryland. They shut down the boardwalk, and they have 2 major stages and like 8 other ones. It's a big deal. Problem is, hurricane season around here, down south, comes up, and they've had 3. 1 got canceled. Yep. That's all.
That's not bad. That's 2 for 3.
That's what Jason Biggs said.
The thing. So that script, we got that script in our college dorm, whenever it was when it first came. So like again, my buddy's older brother was Jason Biggs' manager. It sent us this script and it was like, hey, you guys should read this. This is like this. We're making this movie, and that first scene, like, so we just had like the first 5 or 6 pages. The first scene of American Pie when he's watching the scrambled porn and he's like jerking off into a sock, and there's like 5 or 6 pages of this scene, and that's the first. We're watching it, we're like, there's no way they're making a movie out of it. Like, there's no way they're making. And then it talks about like he's banging a pie, and we're like, there's no way. And like, sure enough, they made a movie where he jerked off to scrambled porn and had sex with a pie, and it really brought it to life. The script to life. All right, so 1970s is matchups. I don't think we have any. Finals yet. As we close this out this evening, but the Hangover's great. Like, who are there any crossovers? Actors from those? No, I don't think so. Hangover, to me, the first one is so much better than the others. I think American Pie is good all the way through, but it's all formulaic.
All of it was
it's all
very
formula.
entertaining.
Yeah,
Hangover's the only people, when you go to see a funny movie and people tell you how funny it is, it's never like you're like, you ruined it for me. That was the only one I was like, that was even so much funnier than people hyped it up.
It was so entertaining.
Yeah.
It really was. Not at the table, Carlos. I mean, Zach Galifianakis is so great.
Yeah. You had no idea it was like a lot of times when you see the shtick coming and you still like it. They were hitting you with shit like there was stuff that was off. Like, I mean, come on.
Ed Helms,
come on,
getting married to a stripper when he's blacked out after losing his tooth.
He was like the poster boy for why that was pretty good. Not because he was so good, his face and then everyone else's humor. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Listen,
the first time was amazing.
I think the best one, because I see it as a franchise versus franchise. And so I like American Pie, but the best one movie is definitely The Hangover. All right, so 1990s, Wayne's World versus Groundhog Day. I'm sorry, let's start with the 70s. 1970s, Blazing Saddles versus Animal House. I'm Animal House.
Animal House.
Yep.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail versus Young Frankenstein. Thank God we finally get a good matchup. I'm going Monty Python here.
That's Derek.
Python. Yeah, you don't want to say it, but you know it.
No. I don't want to answer that fucking question. Pardon my language.
All right, that closes out this 1980s planes, trains, and automobiles versus Trading Places.
Trading Places.
I'll let you guys have that one, no problem. And then Ghostbusters versus Caddyshack. I'm Ghostbusters.
Caddyshack.
Gotta be Caddyshack.
Caddyshack is the classic,
and I love Ghostbusters.
Yep. But you get Bill Murray in both, and that's important. All right, 1990s, Wayne's World versus Groundhog Day. I'm a Groundhog Day guy through and through.
Me too.
Again, Bill Murray.
Wayne's World.
All right, Groundhog Day wins.
Party on, Derek.
Party on, Wayne.
Dumb and Dumber versus Office Space. I'm going to stay Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
All right. And then 2000s, 40-Year-Old Virgin versus Old School. I'm Old School all day.
They're both good movies.
They're both great movies. A lot of similar dudes. I think, are they both Judd Apatow? I don't know. I think they are both Judd Apatow. I mean, these are probably movies.
Say it again to me.
40-Year-Old Virgin versus Old School. Old School is up there for me.
It's Old School. Damn it. They're both great, though, and I don't like that many movies.
It's true.
Yep, I agree.
Step Brothers versus The Hangover. I'm going to go probably Hangover here.
I'm gonna go Step Brothers.
I'm a Step Brothers man.
Step Brothers wins, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're down to the
lady
final
was in
four.
The last two win answers for us.
1970s Animal House versus Monty Python.
It's
and
Animal
the Holy
House
Grail.
all day. I hate you guys for your Monty Pythons.
It's
all right. Animal Houses. 1980s finals. Trading Places versus Caddyshack.
I'm a Caddyshack
Me
man.
too.
I think
I
we're
have
pushing
to go
Caddyshack forward. No
Caddyshack.
problem there whatsoever.
Yep.
All right, now we're testing how fast Greg can type.
No, he's done great. Greg's been on fire.
Yes.
I just left a 3-hour draft with a dozen adults, and 3 different people flamed out. There was 19 different physical threats. You're doing great.
Very nice Christmas glass. We appreciate everyone hanging out. All right, 1990s Groundhog Day versus Dumb and Dumber. I'm gonna stay Dumb and Dumber. I love Groundhog Day, but I'm going Dumb and Dumber.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for not putting me on there.
2000s Old School versus Step Brothers. I stay Old School.
Old School.
All right.
I love them both. There's like 5. There's only like 8 movies I love from this era.
First semifinal is Animal House versus Caddyshack. Animal House and Caddyshack are 2 movies that I've seen a million times each. I think for me, it's Animal House.
I do too. I'm going to go up and it hit me right away, so I said it.
There's something about that movie.
Yeah.
It's so close to call. I mean, I'm Caddyshack, but I get it.
I get it because if Rodney was in more of Caddyshack, it'd be better.
Yeah.
And that might have been but man, you got Belushi, dude, just
I know.
toga. Like, I never dressed up like Caddyshack, and neither did Lacey Hartwell.
Niedermeyer.
Or whatever her name was. But I did toga.
Kevin Bacon.
I've put a few togas on in my day, boys.
Yes. I've had one really good toga situation.
It did not smell that good when I got back here late night. There was 19 toga men in here, and it was like a Roman bathhouse.
Or Turkish. Could have been Turkish also. Turkish is the same thing.
Well, everyone was just putting their feet in there, but it still looked weird.
Other semifinal is Dumb and Dumber versus Old School. I'm going to stay Old School. I just love Old School so much. By the way, those are the 2 that belong in the end for me.
I know. I know.
I've laughed more to Dumb and Dumber, but Old School's funnier.
I love Old School so much.
I love them both so much.
Me too.
But I will say, at the end of the day, Old School.
I think that what I should.
If we're going to debate, it's Old School.
The soundtrack from Dumb and Dumber still is one of my. It's like a banger soundtrack from the 90s. Some of those random movies like that. There was another one that I don't think we mentioned that just had like an awesome soundtrack.
That's the only Farrelly Brothers one in here sniffing around.
So was that it? Was that the final?
No.
Thank
the
God.
championship now is
shit.
Animal House versus Old School, which is a great matchup.
Yeah, you know what?
That's what some 1 seeds making it to the end. What are you guys thinking? Dumb and Dumber versus.
I'm telling you right now, I'm over here. My mind is racing. My fingers are tapping. My legs are scissoring. I can't make this decision.
I love Old School so much. I think Old School and the cool thing about this is I thought Old School was one of the greatest comedies that I had ever seen personally. My 1.5 cents right away. Thankfully, it's now over 20 years old. So it's not the newness bias is over.
It's called Old School, dude.
It is an old movie now. It is.
All right, I'm going Animal House just to put the onus. On the man in the chair.
There's history for both these movies now.
Honestly, it's a 50-50 for me. It's not even 51-49. You have to round up or round down. I can't do it.
I don't think it's close, and it's just the context. It's Animal House.
Ooh.
It's Animal House.
You're a Shamalama Ding Dong guy.
The whole thing. I think about Belushi smashing that guitar. I mean,
I gave my love.
Otis loves us.
A chicken.
Thank you, God. Like all these little. I mean, it's just unreal. It's unreal.
The zit pop. I was like, oh man, this guy's nuts. That wasn't the funniest thing. What it said was, look at him. His hairy ass is crazy looking. Everyone's staring at him, waiting to see what's going to happen next. And he did that, and it could have been so much worse. He did so many other things that were. It was amazing. Animal House. It kind of taught us how to love Old School.
It taught us how to love old school. And by the way, those movies are inextricably linked. They are absolutely linked together. But
that was a great competition there.
Yeah. I'm trying to think
Otis,
the
my
70s
man.
the 70s aspects of that movie are like the things that you could never really truly get away with today, like glorifying some guy pretending to be a girlfriend's dead whatever. I mean, like when he shows dead roommates, like
Otter? Is that Otter?
No, not Otter. It was
I know who's
the Pledge.
I know, but who was
Stratton.
the talker? Stratton, who? Rick Stratton? Well, not
Rick Stratton. It was that he was Rush president. He's damn glad to meet you. And he goes and pretends
I used
that
to know all this stuff.
He's the and he ends up hooking up with the girl on line. So like you couldn't do that today.
I can see the way she's chewing gum right effing now.
Mind if we dance with the old dates?
You know, mind if we dance with
the old dates?
They have an illegal frat house kind of, and then get kicked out of it. They did it first. They did it better. Old school did the same kind of thing, you know. But I get it.
PCU.
They're both kind of. Animal House is the top.
Animal House is an original
Belushi,
banger,
man.
and Belushi.
It was the spirit of Belushi.
And Kevin Bacon. Don't forget about Kevin Bacon.
He was adorable, and he played a great role. No,
the chicks were hot. Again, the '70s stuff, the gratuitous nudity, the illicit drug use. What's his face? Donald Sutherland.
It was fake Ivy League.
Pantsless.
Yeah,
reaching high,
done without that.
Reaching for the top shelf.
He was a straight up stoner pervert.
Yes, he was. What's his face? We just talked. He was James Franco before James Franco. He was basically like
he was Franco-eyed the entire film.
Franco-eyed, just like I'm gonna be a college professor because why do you want to be a college professor?
Sutherland.
Because that's
Niedermeyer.
College girls.
Oh, there was
Ken
so many
Stratton, wasn't it? Ken? It was something. I don't know if it was Ken Stratton. Otter is Eric Stratton.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Animal House is the big winner. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. We love that you guys are up for having a fun Tuesday, as we are every single week.
That was great.
Want to appreciate our main man Derek for hanging out with us here.
Thank you guys.
Kevin Ricca.
I love it. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I love this. This should be a thing.
Yeah,
this should be a thing. That was great. By the way, Greg Martin, you always make it so much fun, man. This is what I do at my house with my kids. This is when Greg does it, it's so cool to me because I'm always the one asking these stupid ass questions to try and have a fun night, no matter what the scenario is, no matter what this cultural stuff that we do with music, movies, and everything that we get into. We all know we love our boys, but this is the shit that makes this whole show go round, boy.
Do you want to talk about who your number one draft preference is for your team? Just give us a name.
No.
Okay. All right. We're gonna put you on the spot in coming weeks.
Are you talking about the New York Football Giants?
Yeah.
I'm still not trying to pretend this problem it doesn't even exist right now. It's like a nightmare for me.
Got another 20-some years, huh?
Yeah. That's.
Let me dive into the tournament here and be happy. I don't want to be sad right now.
Okay. Good. That was the right answer.
No one has picked one wrong game as far as the final 64 are concerned.
That's correct. I'm Ken Meringolo. This was Tuesday night. We're going to let EO sing us out with a little How Did I Get Here?
You guys are the best, man. Always fun as hell.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out.
Derek, thank you, dude. You got to make this.
Guys.
Come on, man. Let's get this going.
Look at these guys. By the way, check out EO's campground reviews. If you're up for camping in the Pacific Northwest. There you go.
It is spring break this weekend.
We're still live. And she's still our team mom.
Oh shit.
Still our team mom. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Team party, team summer gathering. We'll vote for team mom.
It's like a pool party.
I can't wait to get in there with you and Derek live.
That was good. The questions were all his brackets.
That was very cool. He was, dude. He's